so that all of you can be involved in in signing, so that you all have a role to play afterward. No, joking. When well, maybe not. And but what we'll do this morning is we'll do the Tara Puja. The Tara meditation, and then when it comes to the part of saying mantra, we will spend some time doing the visualization, saying mantra, and really spreading the Tara's green light. Just put a big Tara kind of here, and the all of Tara's energy going down the hill to include the house and the forest up the hill that way, and then all our property this way. And we'll say the mantra for a while, and then as you continue to say the mantra, then at some point I'll just write John Hancock. And yeah.
Tutari turi soha om tare, 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 tutari turi soha om tare. Tutari turi soha om tare, tutari turi soha om tare, tutari turi soha.
Pass this thing around, and everybody who wants to, it's optional, can express your hopes and wishes and prayers and aspirations for the land and the house, and how it will benefit sentient beings from now until forever.
So in the short term, I hope that this can be a place of great peace and a place for all who stay there to have the Dharma flourish in their minds, and for the land there to be restored, and for the beauty to be restored, and for the animals to be happy and safe, and then for the Abbey to have this land. I'm sure it will be used in many ways, and for the long term, I hope that it will be a place of the flourishing of the Dharma through translation, through teachings, through practice. A place that's welcome to all and helps to create peace in a very chaotic world.
So I wish for the land and the Abbey to really be a beacon for Dharma in this country, and that people gravitate toward this area because the pure Dharma is being studied and taught and really embodied, and that through that activity that this land, this country, this world will become a kinder place where the Buddha's teachings are really evident, and everyone can see the effect of the power of these teachings.
Well, I've kind of had my eye on that land since I came here 11 years ago. And I've seen it, dependent arisings can happen in a positive, supportive way, and dependent arisings can happen kind of a opposite way, in which there isn't, through no, I think, any intentional fault of anybody, to see, like our minds, if the care and the attention and the vigilance is not there, that we create the cause and conditions to have something that isn't helpful and beautiful and transcendent. So my great wish is that this property really becomes sort of a symbol of the potential of all of our minds that are under the control of afflictions and karma, as the land is under the control of knapweed and other assorted things, is that through creating the causes and conditions in our own minds, and by our joyous effort in sort of symbolically caring for that land, we'll be able to see the transformation not only from the outer external circumstances, but also the inner transformation in our own minds, because our bodies and minds connected to this world definitely will create part of the cause and conditions for peace and harmony. And then the land will really symbolize externally the power of the Dharma on how it can really transform things.
As we've been, or as I've been, visualizing saturating this land with Tara's mantra and light and nectar, the irony of buying green acres has really been in my mind. It's like it's already been Tara's land all along. Maybe like the Samkhyas, we had to uncover it. And Tara Mountain, we renamed that mountain Tara Mountain as soon as we came. And so, really having this sense of Tara as a protector and buying that piece of land as a protection for not just the Abbey, but for the Dharma. So, looking at that 1,000-year, there it is that way, that 1,000-year plan, seeing too how the land itself teeming with monastics practicing, with translation happening, with people studying and practicing, and lay people coming and staying and serving, and all in this huge community of Dharma activity, which can have nothing but a positive and powerful effect on the whole country and the whole continent, and that spreads around the world. So that's my aspiration, is again, Khensur Wangdak's, I think, was a prediction of saying this land could support 10,000 monastics. That day will come, I think, and that land will support that. And with 10,000 monastics comes millions and millions of practitioners, and that's only good for everybody.
Yeah, I hope, wish that the Sravasti Abbey sign is moving forward to the lower path of Country Lane. And I also wish this property, together with the 240 we have already, will be an example of how we protect land, how we treat our environment purely, and being a great example of being in harmony with Mother Earth. And also that this land will attract many more lay practitioners, and so that there will be a land for monastics and lay practitioners together to support each other to attain awakening. And also the turtles we have in the pond now, they are simple for longevity. So may this come about for sentient beings.
When I spent a month here in 2007, there were only 2 monastics here. You were ordained by then, right, Venerable Tarpa? Just 2 monastics. And I was out sitting in the field here, where Gautami House is, with Ulrich, who talked the whole time, and I listened. And then in the breaks when he had to breathe, I said to Ulrich, at some point we're going to see monastics walking all over this property. And it was really easy to imagine this, but in 2007 there were only 2, and it kind of seemed like a fantasy. So now with this expansion of the property, and with the expansion of the community, and with the growing numbers of people who are coming to the Abbey to hear the Dharma, this idea that what you mentioned of 10,000 monastics isn't far-fetched. And also we must remember that the knapweed is not inherently existent. And I'm really looking forward to all of us working with this and working with the property, because I think in just doing that and restoring this beautiful piece of property to its exquisite potential, we're really going to grow the Dharma in our own mind. So that's going to be wonderful.
I simply wish for the land and all the sentient beings on the land and that will use the land to be healthy and to continue to grow and spread wisdom and compassion throughout all of this place until we're all well able to protect this earth and everyone on it.
My hope is that in the years to come, this will just continue to be a place of beauty and hope as it is now, and there for all the people and the animals and all the sentient beings.
I hope that the every inch that this is expanding will be multiplied 1,000 times by the number of people who come and meet the Dharma and the sentient beings who are liberated, and by being liberated, create the peace that this Abbey was established to do.
Beyond what we can envision today or even see or envision within our lifetimes, may this be a benefit to all sentient beings for a very long time.
Having come through this summer of fire, I was attracted by the image of water. Water in the stream, water in the pond, and even the light sprinkle that we had this morning. So playing on that image a bit, may the goodness, may the truth, may the strength and the liberation of the Dharma ripple out from this good place with such life-sustaining and life-changing power forever and ever.
This is my first time here. I've only been here 3 days, but I really hope for this, which I find is special. One of the special things is that men and women practice together. So I hope that it will flourish here, and also that you are so democratic here. That's somehow a little bit new for me. So I hope that also will flourish with the Dharma and with the place and the expansion of the place. Thanks.
My wish is that every single sentient being that set foot on that land, may their mind be transformed into the Dharma, and may they also go around and teach the Dharma around the world and the universe.
As a lay practitioner, it's important for us to have a place to come to escape from the distractions of our everyday life. And so if this place, even as it already is, it's magnificent, and now it will just be even more so. And it's just wonderful to have this place to come and practice, because that's really the heart of it for me at this point, is practicing and not just reading and listening. And I need to come someplace and have this place where I can do the work.
My wish is very similar to Kim's. I see this as just a wonderful opportunity to come to this place, to get away from my world with all its distractions, to have the support and the great teachings of our teacher, and all the Dharma friends who support us, and be able to make the most of this precious human life that we have. So I wish this for all the beings who come and for all the beings who now reside on that property.
I never had a land, and I'm happy I never had, but I'm a little bit emotional that you are happy to have it. And what I wish for this is that all the people that come here have the chance to benefit from this place, and also all the people who don't have the chance to come here be able to benefit from this place.
I'm not sure that people have really started to grasp yet where we're heading as a civilization, as a species. That's something that I spend all of my time working on, and I know that there are actually many scientists, including some who are Buddhist, that question whether our species itself is going to survive what we're coming into over the next 50 to 100 years. Incredibly stormy waters. And what's being built here is just crucial for the survival of civilization itself. I really believe that's what's happening here, is that something is being built that's going to, the value of it still hasn't been appreciated. But this is the place where Buddhism is being reborn in the West. And as the human species and our civilization learns some very hard lessons about death and impermanence over the next several generations, my hope and aspiration for Sravasti Abbey is that it's more than just a sanctuary from the storm, that it becomes a true lighthouse and a beacon of Tara's amazing, liberating light to guide humans, especially because we have such a tremendous responsibility for all life on this planet to provide the guidance that we're going to need to go through this very difficult transition to a new way of life.
I noticed today that it rained, a very beautiful rain. So it reminds me of like the nectar of Avalokiteshvara, or Tara, washing away the impurities of the land. It's a very auspicious sign. It's like the rain of Dharma, washing our minds, entering our permeating into our minds. I hope this is my first time to this place, and I'm very touched by the warmth of the monastics. I feel very welcome by everyone, spiritual friends and monastics. This feels like home. And I hope that the lives of our spiritual teachers, our monastics and our spiritual friends remain healthy, stable and strong. And we can continue to create peace in this chaotic world.
It's also my first time here, and I as well am very touched by the warmth and just the giving that I've experienced, or I guess the receiving I've experienced from such a giving community. And it's my wish that the land will create a place for this community to thrive, and that it will continue to attract countless beings who are searching for transformation in their lives so that they can help transform the world.
I am at heart a somewhat material person, and I will admit that before I came out here, I went on Zillow and looked at the neighborhood and the various properties that were around here, and I actually had developed a wish to buy that piece of property and donate it to the Abbey. So I am thrilled that you have taken care of this for me. And I'm just going to have to go back on Zillow and find another piece of property to pick out for you to buy for me next. There is another. Okay, good. The thing that really strikes me about coming here is how difficult it must be for the monastics who are here in their separate space, having us lay folks coming and going and bringing our emotions and our energy and our outside world stuff with us. I really respect how you're able to kind of maintain your own even keel as we're all zipping back and forth around you. And so my hope for this piece of property is that it can become a little bit of a buffer zone maybe for the actual Abbey, and that perhaps lay people could be forced to park their cars down there and have to walk up the hill as a kind of meditation and sort of drop their baggage, as maybe some little like Burma shave signs as you're coming up the hill to remind us to not unload all of our outside stuff on the people who are here.
I thought it was really beautiful that this purchase was able to occur this week as we're practicing Tara, because one of her activities is that of increasing. I've been thinking about that word and what it means, and for the Abbey, I know it means it will be an increase in what they offer and what they share. And then just this morning when you sat down with your papers to sign, I was very moved thinking, we're in samsara, we're in this muck, we're in the papers and the title company that doesn't do its job. And like you said, this is samsara. But because of your intentions and aspirations and all of our intentions and aspirations, it can be like that white lotus. Out of all this, there's going to be something transcendent, something that will continue to benefit sentient beings after all these bodies are no more.
So in the short term, I hope that Tara will emanate countless volunteers who will come and help us transform the land to transform into a place that will be safe for many people to live and practice, without any worry or fear. I think that will be just wonderful. And our vision to start transforming the land into forest, I think is just going to be amazing for all the beings on the land. So that's the short term. In the very, very long term, I really do hope we will be able to turn it into a translation institute in accordance with His Holiness the Dalai Lama's wishes, and of course with Venerable Thupten Chodron's deepest wishes, that we will translate more material from the Tibetan canon and the Chinese canon into English that will help the Dharma to flourish in the West, that we will translate materials from Chinese canon into Tibetan to help the Tibetan monastics take the full ordination, if that should come to pass, and also to translate to help get the Dharma out into languages that touch people's hearts. And in the very long run, for us to offer the full ordination here in English, I really hope that will come to pass. So for millions of monastics and lay practitioners to always benefit from this property and all our practice.
The land that you're acquiring, being part of Sravasti Abbey, so I hope it's going to be a place where the true path and the true cessation can actually be actualized purely and completely.
The Abbey really is an extraordinary place in the world. Just not far too few places like it. It's my wish that in 1,000 years, all of us here can have generated the causes and conditions to return here and perhaps read about what an extraordinary day today was.
I'm very excited about that purchase of land. I similarly took and looked at it a few times on the internet over the years. I also want to reflect that I seem to remember, for a while you lived in Boise, correct, Venerable Chodron? But you didn't know anything down there. You just lived with people, is that right? Yeah, I didn't know you then, but I think I saw you around in Boise, just, with people. And I remember thinking to myself, why would someone dress in robes and walk around? I felt that. That was back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And of course, I met the Dharma a few years after that. And then I came up here for the first time in 2006. And like Venerable Sompton, well, actually at that time, you were the only monastic. Venerable Tarpa was in white or gray back then, and so there was one. And a lot of us had to sleep outside. I did that a few times in tents. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. And I'm actually absolutely astounded at how quickly this has grown and what this has become. I mean, it boggles the mind. I mean, these are $2 million buildings that have been put up in less than a decade. The monastic community has increased tenfold, again, in less than 10 years. In another 10 years, there'll probably be 100 monastics. So this land gives the opportunity for that, and I'm very grateful to come up here. I'll pick up trash, I'll cut logs, I'll do whatever Venerable Semke orders me to do. I'll try and My biggest hope is that, okay, none of us are going to be around in 75 years in our current format. Our bodies are going to be transformed, and my biggest hope, Venerable, is that you take rebirth, and in your next rebirth you come back and you're once again the abbess of this wonderful place.
When I was in a Labor Day weekend retreat, I kind of regret that we give the offer, right, and then we didn't get a paper bag, and I didn't do the prayer when you signed the offer. So I said, oh no, but then this is better. I'm here when you sign closing paper. I'm so happy. and then when you wait the long, so in Thailand sometimes they said the good thing you have to wait, and then you will get better things later. So this is what happened. So I'm very happy we have this land, and I hope and I wish, and this is benefits everybody, not only in this country, and everybody in the world can come and benefit from the teaching, and then they go back to their country and spread the teaching all over the world.
And that all of the goodness or merit that's generated from that filters back to the generations of landowners, the people who have held the land before, from the present all the way back. So they've been stewards, and we've benefited from that stewardship. And so may their lives somehow be enriched and blessed as a result of this as well.
I think if I start with aspirations, we'll be here quite a long time. Yeah, but to thank, because this was originally native land, and then the U.S. government took it over, and then it was homesteaded. We have kind of a list of the different peoples since the late, it was the late 19th century, who cared for the land. And so, to appreciate them and thank them. And also the present owners, may they, who are, when this gets registered tomorrow or the next day, are no longer the present owners. But, may these people also have, be free of anger and have kind hearts. Yeah. And may they eventually come to have faith in the Dharma and to learn the Dharma and to take it to heart to really improve their lives and attain realizations. If there's going to be 100,000 monastics here, all you people have some work to do. Yeah, because you have to become examples yourself and then go out and recruit. So rather than the U.S. Marine Corps recruiting people, yeah, we need the, yeah, we need monastic recruits, yes.
Is there a cutoff age for ordination?
Right now we do, at 50 is our cutoff age, yeah. Yeah, but there's also next life and the life after that, and to make strong prayers to meet the Dharma when you're young and be able to practice and take ordination when you're young and so on. Yeah, and to aspire that through our own practice, may we transform our own minds and become capable of really teaching people the Buddha's pure teachings and exemplifying them in our lives and inspiring other people to practice. And so may this land become a place where all of us and all sentient beings can do that, and do it in harmony. I think, I really aspire for a harmonious community where people really support each other and work together for a common aim. Yeah, and we have kind of it's not a story or a proverb, but a saying maybe, that we're all like rocks in a tumbler, and when the tumbler gets shaken, then all the rough edges get worn off, and we polish each other. Yeah, and so maybe everybody who comes to the land, may they, they may start off as rough, unpolished gems, but may they develop wisdom and compassion and all the realizations, and through the force of, working together, may we polish each other and become beautiful Dharma jewels ourselves, become the beautiful jewels of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Okay, and so I also aspire for good relationship with the entire, the surrounding community of human beings, and nagas and devas and deer, and I'm so glad we're buying the land right before hunting season, where we can plaster no hunting signs all around and hopefully save some lives. Yeah. And then may His Holiness Dalai Lama come here, and all of our, through our really wonderful teachers, Pari Rinpoche and so forth, come here throughout the years and teach us, and may we be receptive vehicles to take in the teachings and practice them. Yeah, and so may everybody who comes here have a peaceful mind, and all their virtuous aspirations be fulfilled, and have long lives that are spent practicing virtue. Having a long life that you spend practicing non-virtue is not worthwhile. Yeah, and so may the Abbey, one of our things is to become a beacon of the Dharma, and so may the land enable us to do that. And as Venerable Damcho said, may we be able to give the bhikshu and bhikshuni ordinations here in English at some time. Recruits can now. Yeah, first volunteer. Good. Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, one time His Holiness said, you should start a translation, I don't know, bureau, institute, place, whatever. And I said, I don't speak Tibetan. He said, that doesn't matter, you can do the English. So, there's that kind of aspiration too, because for the Dharma to flourish in English-speaking countries, and similarly in Spanish-speaking and so on countries, we need good translations. Yeah, to have these sutras and commentaries translated. Yeah, because not everybody's going to learn Tibetan or classical Chinese or Pali. Mm?